So, I know I said in my last movement disorder related video that I had chronic tic disorder and not Tourette's because I wasn't making noises. However, I was wrong because I was dismissing things like I was saying, like, at first, oh, I made these noises, but then I thought, no, that doesn't make sense. It must surely not be attributed to Tourette's. Like, because when I would have major spasms, like full body spasms, I would kind of grunt, which you probably noticed or maybe noticed in the videos where I was showing myself having spasms or tics. So I said, oh, it doesn't count, but I shouldn't have said that. It was just the sort of the beginning of, it started small. I was just making those little noises and they weren't often, but now in the last several weeks it started having more and more noises when I was walking usually, and then they would get louder and louder as time progressed, and now they are very loud. I make loud noises, which is really, I would love to swear at the moment, but I'm trying to be better at that. I would demonstrate right now, but I'm sure that over the course of this video I'm gonna end up making that noise anyways, which is highly humiliating, but whatever. Before I was making these noises, I was saying to myself, like, thank goodness I only have the movement disorder part of Tourette's. Thank goodness I only make the movements and that I don't have to make all these noises drawing attention to myself, and that would be so horrible, and I felt bad for those who had to deal with that, and I was grateful that I didn't have to, and I felt bad for being grateful that I didn't have it, which doesn't make sense, but does at the same time. Anyways, but as things turned out, I do have Tourette's, and I do make vocal tics more and more, and I also showed signs of echolalia. In the case of Tourette's, only like less than 10% of those with Tourette's actually formulate words and not just noises. Echolalia is when you repeat words that either you said or someone else said, and corporalia is when you swear or say general vulgar things. And I showed actually the first signs of echolalia the other day, which I found really upsetting because it was just another sign that things are progressing and getting worse, and I would hate to be standing there talking to someone and then repeating what they're saying and repeating what I'm saying. It's getting increasingly harder and harder to deal with emotionally. I have the personality where I joke a lot, even in difficult circumstances. And I think that's one of the things that totally saves me. However, joking about what's going on is getting increasingly difficult because it's feeling increasingly difficult. It feels more humiliating, and the movements that I make aren't as abrupt as they used to be. Like, they are sometimes, but not. They're more deliberate, like I'm squirming, or like going my arms behind my back or over my head and I'm folding backwards, or all kinds of weird things, and the way that it feels is incredibly, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's awful, it's terrible. And sometimes even pain, because if I'm walking and I keep doing this and I'm kind of grinding my shoulder blades, so it really hurts. So yeah, that's getting harder to joke about. Now going in public is really hard. I'm not allowing myself to say that I'm not going to go out in public because of this. Like, I'm not stopping. I go out for walks, even sometimes hours a day, or just like hours outside, or going to the grocery store. I'm not going to stop because I'm embarrassed. I'm going to live. Like, this is my life, and whether it makes me or them uncomfortable is irrelevant. I need to live and not just hide in a hole. So yeah. Oh, yeah, it's pretty much automatic when I leave the house. It's way worse. My symptoms are worse. And I imagine that that's because of anxiety, but that doesn't make that much sense to me because, like, even just going to the park, I get a lot of tics and make a lot of noises and movements. And so the other day I had my sister record me doing some of them, like walking around the park or like just sitting on the ground. So I'll show you that later, some clips of it.
You know what you could do? You could go into one of those artsy theaters where those people, like, they're just in front of like a dozen people or so, and they present their art.
I'm art.
You could wear one of those spandexy costumes.
I'm choreographing.
And name your thing something, and just like have your spasms on stage, and people would be clapping because it's yeah.
Yay!
Yay!
Gilles de la Tourette, on fait un documentaire. Connaissez-vous ça? C'est quand on bouge involontairement puis qu'on fait des bruits involontaires. C'est neurologique. On n'a pas le choix. C'est ça.
C'est pas plaisant à vivre.
Vraiment pas. Ça, faut montrer ça aux médecins. Now I don't even want to get back up.
That's the second time it knocks you off your feet.
Or knees.
Yeah. This is a bad angle.
Yeah. Why are you pointing at my ass?
Yeah. Your crotch. Not that we could see anything, but still. Couldn't tell.
Some of the jokes that I and my sister make about this, or that it looks like I'm dancing, that I'm choreographing or something, and for a while that was kind of a running joke, and I think it still is, and I do still find it funny, and another part of me doesn't, because, well, it's good that it helps me deal, but in reality it doesn't feel like I'm dancing. It feels I don't even know how to say what it feels, but it's really awful. Physically, it feels awful. Emotionally, it's painful and humiliating, and I'm finding it hard to cope with the fact that I have limitations now. I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted so bad to be a nurse. But now, with this, with this problem, I can't, because I would be working in contact with people, and I would be a danger to them, in fact, instead of a help. And so I can't be a nurse, and I'm thinking about all these other things that, like, I can't do anymore. Like, I can function in my life fine, but, like, if I'm gonna actually do a job, like work for a living, I've gotten to the point where that isn't, where that's not plausible. And so I have filed for disability. I had my doctor sign some papers, and he agreed that things have gotten a lot worse. Things are just getting worse all the time, and since the last time we made a talk to the government about whatever, that it has gotten significantly worse. And yeah, there you go. Sorry. Yeah. So that was barely noticeable, right? Right. Oh yeah, aside from not being able to go to school or being able to work like I wanted to, like, because yeah, also this forgot to mention also, like, for studying or like working, whatever, in school, obviously I couldn't stay in one place, but often let's say I'm holding my book, my arm is waving back and forth at the speed of light, and so my book is flapping around, and what are the odds that I can read that? And then I put it in my other hand, which isn't ticking, and then I end up folding backwards and looking at the wall behind me. So it is very complicated. So it's keeping me from being normal in the sense of working, and now, like, even I'm going to the dentist in a month, not at the dentist clinic, but at the hospital, because I have to be put because of my Tourette's. I can't stay still, so I have to be knocked out, and I'm kind of freaked about that because I've never been put under before, which sounds pretty scary. I'll probably do a video about that next month when that happens. Maybe I'll film something, or I don't know. So yeah, I think I've complained about everything that I wanted to. I love complaining. It makes me feel better, really. Okay, so, I was thinking, you know, because with tics, with Tourette's, often there's things that each person can, like, while they're doing this activity or thing, whatever, they don't have tics. Like, for me personally, if I'm rocking in a rocking chair, then I don't have tics, or if I'm driving. Before, as long as I was in movement, I didn't have it. Like, if I was walking, if I was just grabbing something, I didn't have any movements, but that is no longer the case. I used to have a whole lot, like, I could function really well, and especially things didn't show very much in public, because as long as I was moving, I was fine, but now it's blatantly obvious a lot of the time. Yeah, so the question is, what is it, if you have a tic disorder, what is it that you can do that doesn't give you tics, that you don't have tics doing? I don't know, mowing the lawn. I heard one kid say that while he was speaking English, he wouldn't have tics. Like, he was French, but if he was speaking in English, he wouldn't have any tics. And I thought that was really very interesting. Even someone else on YouTube says that when he's driving, he doesn't have tics, which is interesting to me. So my question is, what are the things that you can do that make it so that you do not have tics? Yeah. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I said everything. So signing out.